Are you ready for some fantastic sailing in Brazil? Welcome to Copa Mitsubishi, where Brazil's top sailors gather to compete during a 4-stage sailing competition. Wait, what does the regatta have to do with these two cruising sailors? Welcome to Sailing Suite Ruka. I'm Kate, this is Curtis, and Roxy the dog. We are two racing sailors that decided to sell it all, buy a boat, and sail around the world the hard way via Cape Horn. We finished lots of upgrades here in Saco da Ribeira, but these racing sailors still had plenty of energy left. Our friends back on Ilhabela Island told us about the famed Mitsubishi Cup regatta. When we found out we could sign up our floating tiny house as an acceptable entry, we couldn't pass it by. We signed up for the Doublehanded class, that is, as long as you don't count 4 paws. But before we could become racers again, we'd have to make it back to the island. We motored on over to the floating gas dock in Saco da Ribeira to refill our water tanks and refuel before anchoring one night in Ilha Anchieta to watch the sunset. It was time to head back to the Island of Beauty, where we dropped anchor just north of Yacht Club Ilhabela. It didn't take long to feel like a special event was coming.
It's not every day a helicopter lands on the boat next door. Pretty interesting.
The double-handed class didn't race until the second weekend, which meant we could get an idea of the race course in channel conditions the weekend before, where the ORC, One Design, and PHRF classes would kick off the Mitsubishi Cup regatta. But first, we joined the competitors for the opening party and officially register for entry.
So we heard a bunch of cheering and saw them put out a buoy, and there are loads of rowers out here this morning. So just gotta love waking up to this in your backyard. So yeah, just right here on Sweet Ruka's bow, we got front row seats to the rowing regatta here today. We are going to try to film some of the ORC racing and rating racing that they have going on today. It's get a feel for the race before we race next week in the double-handed class. I hear some bumping. Nothing like a freighter going through your starting line. First to finish, first to finish.
HP, 5 minutos. 5 minutos HP. Na sequência, classe RG.
5 minutos here until the next start. For those of you that don't speak Portuguese, that means 5 minutes until the next start. We are out here in Ilhabela for the Mitsubishi Cup, and the course is right over here. It's really interesting, the racing here. You've got two different levels of racing. You've got a very hardcore pro'd up ORC fleet here, and then you've got your basic Brazilian equivalent of PHRF. And it's gonna be pretty cool. The top boats will be coming first, and then the cruising class boats, or the PHRF class boats, and then the next set of boats should be the two one design classes that they have, which is a 30-foot one design similar to a Melgus 32, and then a 25-foot one design very similar to a Melgus 24. Pretty cool stuff. Some awesome hardcore racing here, and we're excited to see these guys do their thing. Some boats have chose the far right side over here, and you can see some boats directly behind us are tacking up the shore on the left side of the course. Both sides are trying to completely stay out of the middle because there's a very deep channel here and a big current right now running from south to north. So people are trying to hide from the current and work their way up in the shallow water where there's less current. It's very cool. You can see the boats inside of the little umbrellas. So these guys are really getting into shore here. Pretty cool stuff. Time for me to get the drone up for you guys.
Next week, we put Sweet Ruka to the test, sailing in the Doublehanded class, keeping Roxy aboard but leaving the dinghy ashore. And soon we discover the damage that occurred so many nights ago while crossing the Atlantic. Will Sweet Ruka ever make it south? A special thank you to all our patrons for making these videos possible. You too can get real-time updates on our Patreon page by joining our crew. As usual, don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.